Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala amma ba'du. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome again to the third session of today's class, Salatul Layli. Is that where we're going to start? So the sunnah on recitation in the night prayers. So when you are praying Salatul Layli, night prayers, what is the sunnah in recitation? Shall we recite loud or quiet? Shall we recite longer chapters or shorter chapters? How shall it be? This is what we're going to read today. We're going to read in this class. So he's going to read for us. Which table read last? Which table read last? That table, right? So now it is this table. Yeah, it's your table. Please, someone from the table shall read. Salatul Layli. Kana sallallahu rubbama tara. Qira'ata fiha taratan. ويطيلها تارة أحيانا ويبالغ في إطالتها أحيانا أخرى فلم يزل قائما حتى هممت بأمر سوء هممت أن أقعد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Good, you can stop there. عليه وسلم ربما جهر بالقراءة فيها وربما أسر. The Prophet ﷺ would sometimes pray loudly and sometimes quietly. So in Salatul Layl you have option. You can pray loudly, you can pray quietly. There are both options the Prophet ﷺ did. ويقصر القراءة فيها تارة. Sometimes he will shorten the recitation. He will recite the short surahs. وَيُطِيلُهَا أَحْيَانًا. Sometimes he will lengthen the recitation. He will recite from longer surah. وَيُبَالِغُ فِي إِطَالَتِهَا أُخْرَى. He will extend, he will long it, he will lengthen it so extendedly. He will extend it, he will lengthen it. Sometimes to a very long recitation. Sometimes he will recite longer surah, sometimes shorter surah, sometimes exceedingly long. He will recite a very, very long surah. Hatta qala Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu. To the extent that Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu said, Sallaytu ma'an Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam laylatan. I prayed behind the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam one night. Falam yazal qa'iman hatta hamamtu bi amri su'in. He continued to stand and prolong the standing till I was struck with a wrong idea. Wrong idea came to my mind. I wanted to do something wrong. Qila wa ma hamamta. He was asked, what was the idea? Qala, he said, hamamtu an aquda wa adhara an-nabiy sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, I wanted to sit down and leave the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam standing. So sometimes he will shorten the prayer, sometimes he will lengthen it, sometimes he will make it so long that even people that pray behind him, because sometimes some people pray behind him, not constantly, will come with an idea of just leaving the Prophet ﷺ standing and they will sit down to continue the prayer. قال حذيفة بن اليمان. Who can read from here? From the same table, if we find someone, if not, go to the next. He read, someone, not him. Shall we have a Malaysian reading? قال حذيفة بن اليمان.
ذات ليلة ففتحت البقرة
فقلت
بركاء
يركع عند المئة
ثم منع
فقلت
يصلي بها في ركعتين ووضع فقلت يركع بها ثم افتتح النساء فقرأها ثم افتتح إلى آل عمران وقرأها يقرأ مثلا
سلا
إذا مر
يقرأ what do you have يقرأ
فيقرأها
فقرأها يقرأ
فقرأها يقرأ
مترسلا I think right
مترسلا
yeah I don't have it yeah go ahead
مترسلا إذا مر باية فيها تسبها سبحا وإذا مر
بسؤال سأل
بسؤال سأل إذا مر
بتأوذ تأوذ
ثم ركع
okay
الحديث
you can stop there now قال حذيفة بن اليمان حذيفة بن اليمان now reporting another hadith about his how the Prophet ﷺ lengthened the night prayer. The other hadith was reported by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud that said that I was struck by a wrong idea. What is the idea? That I wanted to leave the Prophet ﷺ standing and I would sit down, showing that the Prophet ﷺ prolonged the salah. Now there is another hadith from Hudhayfa. He said, Sallaytu ma'an Nabi ﷺ dhata layla. I prayed with the Prophet ﷺ one night. Faftataha al-Baqarah. Then he started with Surah al-Baqarah. After Fatiha, the first chapter he recited was Surah al-Baqarah. فَقُلْتُ Then I said, يَرْكَوْ إِنْدَ الْمِئَةِ Maybe he will prostrate, he will go to ruku after reciting 100 verses. How many verses are there in Surah al-Baqarah? 280 what? 280 something. He said maybe he started with Baqarah, maybe he's going for ruku after 100 verses. فَمَضَى After 100 verses, the Prophet ﷺ carried on. قُلْتُ يُسَلِّي بِهَا فِي رَكَعَتَيْنِ I said maybe he's going to divide it into two. The first rak'ah might be 150, 160, then the second rak'ah will be shorter. Maybe he will do that. فَمَضَى The Prophet ﷺ continued. فَقُلْتُ Then he said, يَرْكَأُ بِهَا Maybe he's going to do ruku. After finishing it, maybe he will going to make one rak'ah Surah Al-Baqarah. After finishing Baqarah, ثُمَّ افتتح النِّسَاءَ Then he started Surah Al-Nisa again. I was there following. فَقَرَأَهَا And he read it all. ثُمَّ افتتح آل Imran Then he started Al Imran as well. فَقَرَأَهَا He read it. يَقْرَأُ مُتَرَسِّلًا He was reciting slowly, and the recitation was slowly. It wasn't fast. إِذَا مَرَّ بِآيَةِ تَسْبِيحٍ سَبَّحَ When he fasts by a verse of glorification, he will glorify Allah. For instance, when he fasts a verse that's saying, فَسَبِّحْ بِسْمِ He says, سُبْحَانَ رَبِّيَ الْأَعْلَى So he's even following the command. When you are praying a night prayer, and you fast by a verse that asks you to glorify Allah, to supplicate Allah, you can glorify and supplicate Him. وَإِذَا مَرَّ بِآيَةِ سُؤَالٍ سَأَلٍ If a verse had something to be asked, he will ask. For instance, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ أُدْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ He will stay and pray. Reciting slowly and also applying the Quran, and also asking where he's supposed to ask, where there is a caution, also glorifying, where there is a glorification, supplicating where there's supplication. وَإِذَا مَرَّ بِتَأَوِّذٍ تَأَوَّذٍ When he passed by a verse of seeking refuge, he will seek refuge from Allah. ثُمَّ رَكَعَ Then he went for ruku. So now we're reciting 3 chapters. Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Nisa, Surah Al Imran. So he prolonged, he made it so long, sometimes in Salatul Layl. Now, there is a point also I want you to deduce from here, from this, that is not apparent, that is hidden point, but you can deduce it the way we did in the first session. He prayed, Hudhayfa prayed behind the Prophet ﷺ. Let me summarize it for you. Hudhayfa prayed behind the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ started Surah Al-Baqarah. Hudhayfa thought that the Prophet ﷺ would go for ruku after 100 verses. He carried on after 100 verses. Then he said, maybe he will divide it into two. The first part in the first rak'ah and the second in the second rak'ah. He carried on when he passed the half. He said, maybe yarka'u biha. Maybe he will do ruku after finishing Baqarah. He went straight to Surah An-Nisa, then Surah Al Imran. What can you deduce from here? Yes? Yeah, this is, good. But this is not the point I'm intending. Mufassal. Baqarah is not Mufassal. Ali Imran. Okay. You don't have to follow the order on the way chapters are in the Quran. You started with Baqarah. The next after Baqarah should be what? Ali Imran. He skipped. He went to Nisa and he came back to Ali Imran. So you can start with Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Then you go to Ara'ayta alladhi yukadhibu bid-din. Then you come back to Li'ila fi Quraysh. You don't have to go by the order upon which it is written in the Mus'ab. Because the Prophet ﷺ skipped Ali Imran, but there is an exception. There are chapters that it has to be the way it is. These are, there are some chapters that has to be in order. There are 4 chapters, like 2 chapters, two categories. There are two chapters that has to be in order. You can't read a chapter and read the one after it, before it. So, can you remember any exception? There are 2 exceptions. Suratul A'la and Suratul Ghashiyah. You can start by Suratul Ghashiyah and read Suratul A'la later. Suratul Jumu'ah and Suratul Munafiqun. You can start by Suratul Munafiqun and Suratul A'la later. Sheikh Muhammad bin Salih Uthaymin said, because there are many narrations, we're going to come and read them, that the Prophet ﷺ used to read Ghashiyah after A'la, Munafiqun after Jumu'ah. So you cannot change it. It is reported this way. It has never been reported, despite that many ahadith reporting that at different occasions the Prophet ﷺ will read these 2 surahs. Not in one of the occasions it was said that he started with Munafiqun before Jumu'ah or Ghashiyah before Allah. That's the only exception. Okay. Now let's go to the next. Who can read next from the next table? The next table. وَقَرَأَ لَيْلَةً. Give them the mic. I think it's sisters, right? Yeah, give them the mic. وجع وهو وجع السبع الطوال. وما علم
أنه قرأ القرآن كله في ليلة
قط.
بل إنه لم يرد ذلك لبعد الله من أمر
لعبد الله لعبد الله بن عمرو
ورضي الله عنه حين قال له اقرأ القرآن في كل شهر قال إني
أجد
قوة قال فاقرأوا فيها 20
في 20 ليلة.
في 20 ليلة
قلت إني أجد قوة.
قال فاقرأهم في 7 ولا تزد على ذلك ثم رفض لهم أن يقرأه في 5 ثم رفض لهم أن يقرأه في 3 ونهاهم أن يقرأه في
أقل من ذلك
وعلل ذلك في قوله له من قرأ القرآن
في أقل من 3
لم يفقهه
وفي لفظ
لا يفقهه من قرأ القرآن في أول من 3 ثم في قوله له فإن لكل
Okay, stop there. Let's. وقرأ no, just stop here. There, جزاك الله خير. وقرأ ليلة وهو وجع السبع الطوال. One night he was ill, but he read the 7 longest chapters of the Quran. He was ill, and he read in this night prayer 7 longest chapters. What are the 7 longest chapters? Baqarah, Ali Imran, Nisa'i, Ma'idah, An'am, A'raf, La Yunus. Baqarah, Ali Imran, Nisa'i, Ma'idah, by order. An'am, A'raf, then you skip two chapters. You skip Anfal, And Tawbah, you go to Yunus, is the 7th. So he was sick, he read these 7 chapters. وَكَانَ أَحْيَانًا يَقْرَأُ فِي كُلِّ رَكَعَةٍ بِسُورَةٍ مِّنْهَا. And sometimes he will recite in each raka'ah one of these surah. In first raka'ah he will read Baqarah, the second Ali Imran, the third Nisa'i. He will continue that way. وَمَا أُلِمَ أَنَّهُ قَرَأَ الْقُرْآنَ كُلَّهُ فِي لَيْلَةٍ قَطُّ. It was not known that he read the whole Quran in one night. He didn't read the whole Quran in one night in night prayer. He didn't complete the Quran in one night, in a night. بل إنه لم يغد ذلك لعبد الله بن عمرو حين قال له. He didn't even accept that for Abdullah ibn Amr. When Abdullah ibn Amr wanted to do that, it wasn't reported from the Prophet ﷺ that he finished or he completed the recitation of Quran in one night in night prayers. It wasn't reported. He didn't even accept it when Abdullah ibn Amr. You know Abdullah ibn Amr? Who is Abdullah ibn Amr? Who is Abdullah ibn Amr? You know Abdullah ibn Umar? Okay, just a quick point. A difference between Abdullah ibn Amr and Abdullah ibn Umar is wow. Originally, Amr and Umar they are written in the same way. Amr and Umar, they should be written as Ainun, Mimun, Ra'un. If you said Ainun, Mimun, Ra'un, you can pronounce it Umar. You can pronounce it Amr. But now, you know, they don't use harakat. You know harakat? Before. Fatha, Dhamma, Kasra, vowels. They don't use vowels before. It is called ujma. It's people who are not familiar with with Arabic language that need Fatha and Kisra and all this. So if you write Umar and Amr in the same form, if you come to read it, you don't know which one is Amr or which one is Umar. Then Arab said, let's add wawun before Amr. That's why if you add no value to things, you write wow, but you don't pronounce it. Abdullah ibn Amr. There is no, the ra'un has even sukun. So the wow is just there. Therefore, if you have no value to things, people will call you wow Amr. You are just the wow that's added to Amr. It has no value whatsoever. It is not pronounced. It's just there to differentiate between Amr and Umar. So just in case you see Amr after Ra, if you see wow, it is pronounced Amr. The wow is not pronounced and the Ra has sukun. But if without wow, it is Umar. It is Umar. Okay. Abdullah ibn Amr is one of the youngest of companions. And what happened is that he got married. When he got married, his father, Amr ibn al-As, went to his house. This is the hadith. I mean the beginning of the hadith. So before we come to this this part. When he got married, his father, Amr ibn al-As, went to his house. And he asked his wife about her husband, his son. She said, I'm married to a very pious person. After Isha, immediately, he will start Qiyamul Layl. And he will finish by Salatul Fajr. And he will fast. So he will carry on fasting continuously and also praying in the night. Then the father, Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As, understood that there is a problem. Then he has no time for his wife. He prayed all night and he fasted all day. Then he went to the Prophet ﷺ and reported him to the Prophet ﷺ. When he was called, Amr was called, the Prophet ﷺ advised him about night prayer. What happened? Now this is the continuation about this is with you. The Prophet ﷺ said, Iqra al-Qur'an fi kulli shahr. Instead of you, I heard what you were doing, that you finished the Quran in one night. Each night you recite Quran from the beginning till the end in night prayer. So you start night prayer immediately after Isha and you finish by Fajr. So don't do that now. Try to finish Quran in 1 month. Iqra al-Quran fi kulli shahr. Qala, Abdullah bin Amr said, Qultu inni ajidu quwwa. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I'm being very powerful. I feel myself, I have the power of reciting. I can do more than that. Qala, the Prophet said, Faqarahu fi ishrina layla. Then recite Quran, finish it in 20 days, in 20 nights. Qala, Qultu inni ajidu quwwa. He said, I feel that I have power to do more than that. Qala, then the Prophet said, Faqarahu fi sab'in. Then finish in 7 days, divide it into 7. La tazid ala dhalika. Don't do more than that. Don't do in less than 7 days. ثم رخص له أن يقرأه في 5. When he insisted, the Prophet ﷺ permitted that he shall divide it into 5. ثم خسله أن يقرأه في ثلاث. Then when he insisted, the Prophet ﷺ permitted that he shall read it in 3 nights. So he shall divide it into 3. Instead of finishing Quran in each night, he shall divide it into 3. First part in one night, the second part in the second night, and the third part in the third night. وَنَهَاهُ أَنْ يَقْرَأَهُ فِي أَقَلِّ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. And the Prophet ﷺ forbade him to do that in less than 3 days. He said, you can't finish Quran in less than 3 days. In less than 3 days. وَأَلَّلَ ذَلِكَ بِقَوْلِهِ. And he mentioned the reason. He said, why? He said, مَنْ قَرَأَ الْقُرْآنَ فِي أَقَلِّ مِنْ ثَلَاثٍ لَمْ يَبْقَاهُ. Whoever recites Quran and finish it in less than 3 days will not understand it. I mean, you are just reading not to understand. This Quran is admonition. This Quran is calling you to do some obligations, to keep away from some prohibitions, to do this, but you're just reading without understanding what you are reading. If you read Quran in less than 3 days, it is as fast as you are not understanding what you are reading. So don't read Quran in less than 3 days. وَفِي لَفْظٍ. In another narration, لا يفقه من قرأ القرآن في أقل من ثلاث. Whoever read Quran in less than 3 days will not understand its meaning. ثم في قوله له. Then in the statement of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, إن لكل عابد شرا. Someone shall read. إن لكل عابد شرا. And in the Prophet's statement to Abdullah ibn Amr, he said, إن لكل عابد شرا. That whoever is in practicing ibadah, whoever find himself practicing supplicatory prayers will find keenness and curiosity. He just want to do as much as he went to accumulate as much as reward as he could. وَلِكُلِّ شِرَّةٍ فَتْرَةٍ. And that curiosity and keenness will have a lapse. There is a time that you couldn't do, you couldn't continue because you have taken more than you can do. فَإِمَّا إِلَى السُنَّةِ وَإِمَّا إِلَى الْبِدْعَةِ. Either you are doing sunnah so much that you couldn't continue and it couldn't be sunnah, because sunnah will ask you to do as much as you can. Don't overload yourself. Or bid'ah. If you're doing it not in accordance to the teaching of the Prophet, no matter how much you think it is bid'ah. فَمَنْ كَانَتْ فَتْرَتُهُ إِلَى السُنَّةِ فَقَدْ اهْتَدَى. Whoever followed sunnah, made his keenness and curiosity to find out what the Prophet ﷺ did, and he does that no matter how small it appears to him, has found guidance because he's following the Prophet. وَمَنْ كَانَتْ فَتْرَتُهُ إِلَى غَيْرِ ذَلِكَ فَقَدْ هَلَكَ. And whoever follows other than sunnah, meaning bid'ah, other than sunnah, has gone astray. So it's not how much you do. Don't be carried away, but I will pray 100 rakat. I want to finish Quran. That's bid'ah. You think it's too much, but it's not in accordance to the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ. So always your curiosity about ibadah, your keenness shall be what the Prophet ﷺ did. That is what I want to do. It's not how much, it is how good you do it, and that is what matters. طيب. وَلِذَلِكَ. And for this, كَانَ صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يقرأ القرآن في أقل من ثلاث. The Prophet ﷺ will not recite Quran in less than 3 days. It was not reported in any narration that the Prophet ﷺ recited Quran in less than 3 days. وَكَانَ يَقُولُ. The Prophet ﷺ used to say, مَا صَلَّى فِي لَيْلَةٍ. Continue. مَا صَلَّى فِي لَيْلَةٍ.
وكان يقول من صلى في ليلة ب100 آية فإنه يكتب من القانتين المخلصين. وكان يقرأ في كل ليلة ببني إسرائيل والزمر. وكان يقول من صلى في ليلة ب100 آية لم يكتب من الغافلين. وكان أحيانا يقرأ في كل ركعة قدر 50 آية أو أكثر. وتارة يقرأ قدر يا أيها المزمل.
طيب. وكان يقول, and he used to say, صلى الله عليه وسلم, من صلى في ليلة ب200 آية. Whoever prayed in the night with 200 verses. In your night prayers you read about 200 verses. وَإِنَّهُ يُكْتَبُ مِنَ الْقَانِتِينَ الْمُخْلِصِينَ. He will be written among sincere devotees. Allah will write him among qanitin, al-mukhlisin, sincere devotees. Mukhlisin, sincere people. Qanitin, devotees, that he devoted himself for the sake of Allah. If you recite up to 200 verses in the night. And mind you, if you have not memorized 200 verses, you can hold Quran and you can read from Mus'ab. Just to recite 200 verses in Salatul Layl, you will be written min al-qanitin al-mukhlisin, sincere devotees, servant of Allah. وَكَانَ يَقْرَأُ فِي كُلِّ لَيْلَةٍ. And in each night, the Prophet ﷺ will recite in his night prayer, Bani Israel. Which one is Bani Israel? Which one is Bani Israel? Subhanalladhi asra bi abdihi laylan min al-masjid al-haram ila al-masjid al-aqsa alladhi barakna. Surah al-Isra. In each night the Prophet ﷺ will read this was Zumar and Surah al-Zumar. So these two surahs, these two chapters, the Prophet ﷺ is constant. In each night he will recite them, then he will recite other chapters as well with them. وَكَانَ يَقُولُ, he used to say, مَنْ صَلَّى فِي لَيْلَةٍ بِمِئَةِ آيَةٍ, whoever prays in the night reciting 100 verses, لَمْ يُكْتَبْ مِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ, he will not be written among the heedless, among the reckless, among the lazy people. So once you recite 100 verses, and 100 verses is so easy for you. You won't be written among the heedless, among the reckless, among the lazy people. You won't be written among them if you only recite only 100 verses. What is 100 verses? How many chapters are going to recite to get 100 verses? When you recite Amma yatasa'alun in the first rak'ah, وَالنَّازِعَاتِ غَرْقًا, you have 86 verses. So when you do Shafa and Witr, you recite Bismillah Rabbikal A'la, it's over 100 if you put together. So you can, it's not cheating. Like you read a shorter verses like that from Mufassal. You always find in one page you have sometimes 40 verses. So written 2 pages will give you 3 pages will give you 100 verses, and you will be written that day that you are not among the lazy people in that night. So Alhamdulillah, Islam is so easy and the reward is so tremendous. Then what? وَكَانَ أَحْيَانًا يَقْرَأُ فِي كُلِّ رَكَعَةٍ قَدَرَ 50 آيَةٍ. Sincerely, sometimes that's what I do. Amma yatasa'alun an-nazi'at, and khalas, I'm thinking of 100 verses is my target, because I don't want to be written among the lazy people. That's the problem. If you didn't read up to that, then you are lazy, you are reckless, you are heedless. So just to get out of that, sometimes when you get tired, you just Amma yatasa'alun an-nabiyyil azim. By the time you finish, you know it's 40 verses. Then you take the second rak'ah, Ya ayyuhal muzammil, what do you call it? وَالنَّازِعَاتِ غَرْقًا. If you go for Ya ayyuhal muzammil and Ya ayyuhal mudaththir, it is 56 even. It's longer and it's shorter but with longer verses. But then it's better than you reaching among the reckless people. وَكَانَ أَحْيَانًا يَقْرَأُ فِي كُلِّ رَكَعَةٍ قَدَرَ 50 آيَةٍ. And sometimes he will recite in each raka'ah about 50 verses. About 50 verses in each raka'ah. أو أكثر, or more than that. وَتَارَةً يَقْرَأُ قَدْرَ يَا أَيُّهَا الْمُزَّمِّلِ. And sometimes he will read the likes of Ya ayyuhal muzammil. Ya ayyuhal muzammil is 20 verses. Ya ayyuhal mudaththir is, I think, 56 verses or something like that. Let's go. Who reading further? كله
إلا نادرا فقد راقب عبد الله بن خباب بن الأرد وكان قد شهد بدرا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الليلة كلها، وفي لفظ في ليلة صلاها كلها حتى كان مع الفجر. فلما سلم من صلاته قال له خباب: يا رسول الله بأبي أنت وأمي لقد صليت الليل صلاة ما رأيتك صليت نحوها. فقال: أجل، إنها صلاة رغب ورهب، وإني سألت ربي عز وجل ثلاث خصال فأعطاني 2 ومنعني 1. سألت ربي ألا يهلكنا بما أهلك به الأمم قبلنا، وفي لفظ ألا يهلك أمتي بسنة فأعطانيها. وسألت ربي عز وجل ألا يظهر علينا.
I think it's بسنة, the way you recited it, بسنة. فأعطانيها. وسألت ربي عز وجل
ألا يظهر علينا عدوا من غيرنا فأعطانيها. وسألت ربي ألا يلبسنا شيعا فمنعنيها.
Okay. وما كان صلى الله عليه وسلم يصلي الليل كله, but it's not reported that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم إلا نادرا. It is rare that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم will pray the whole night between Isha and Salatul Fajr, that he will be praying, despite the fact that he's praying so long sometimes, praying Sabat Tiwal, but he will not engulf the whole night. He will pray like if the night is 7 hours, maybe he will pray sometimes up to 5 hours, sometimes up to 4 hours, but he will sleep for the rest of 2 or 3 hours. Sometimes he will make it like he would make his prayer like 3 hours and we sleep for 4 hours. It is rare that he will pray the whole night. In fact, it is only reported once that he prayed the whole night between Isha till Fajr. He was praying. And what happened in that night? فَقَدَ رَاقَبَ عَبْدُ اللَّهِ بِنِ الْخَبَابِ بِنِ الْأَرَتِ وَكَانَ قَدْ شَهِدَ بَدَرًا مَعَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم ورسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الليلة كلها. Abdullah bin al-Khubab bin al-Arat is one of the people who participated in the Battle of Badr. You see, when a companion participated in the Battle of Badr, when his name is mentioned, it has to be mentioned that he participated in the Battle of Badr. Now, what is the ranking of Sahaba? We know that Sahaba, they are the best of generations, right? They are the best of people. But they are not equal in rank. They are not equal in rank. Some of them are better than some. Some of them are higher in rank than others. Now, as just side talk, side karatu. Tell me the ranks of Sahaba. Who are the best, followed by who, followed by who, followed by who? Yes. It's not Abu Bakr only. It is like he fall in a category. So it's not only by names. Abu Bakr is the best, but he fall in a category. Just mention the category and go ahead. Khulafa al-Rashidun, the first 4. Who are the Khulafa al-Rashidun? Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. So the first category, they are the best, they are in highest rank. Then followed by Baqiyatul Ashara, the 6th. Because Ashara, these 4 are part of this, right? So the remaining 6. Who can mention the remaining 6 in haste? Now? Zubayr bin Awam, Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah. Now? Sa'ad bin Abi Waqas, Sa'id bin Jubair, Sa'id bin Zaid, sorry, Abrahman bin Auf, Talha bin Ubaidillah. So these are the second category. After the first Khulafa al-Rashidun, followed by this 4. Then who? After that? After that is the people of Badr, the one who participated in Badr. There are how many are there? 313 or 14 or 17. So they are the third category after Asharatul Mubashshiruna bil Jannah. Then who? Then, sorry? No, then people who paid allegiance to the Prophet ﷺ on Bay'atul Aqba. Those that Allah mentioned in the Quran, لَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ يُبَايِعُونَكَ تَحْتَ الشَّجَرَةِ. Those that the Prophet ﷺ said, لَا يَدْخُلُ النَّارَ أَحَدٌ بَايَعَ تَحْتَ الشَّجَرَةِ. Whoever paid that oath of allegiance under that tree will never enter hellfire. And they are 1,400. They are the 4th category. Then the 5th category, all the people who accepted Islam before the conquest of Mecca. Before Sulh al-Hudaybiyah is what is called Al-Fatah. Before Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. Then those who accepted after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. So Sahaba are of categories. Their ranks is they are of different ranks in their position. So Abdullah bin al-Khabab bin al-Arat is part of the people who attended Battle of Badr. So it's a class for him to let you know that he's among the top 300 companions of the Prophet. That is why it is mentioned. Whenever one of the companions attended, if he's famous, it will be mentioned before his name. That is why Sheikh mentioned before his name that know who this companion is Abdullah bin al-Khubab bin al-Arat. That he prayed with the Prophet ﷺ in the night and he observed something. The Prophet ﷺ, fi laylatin sallaha kullaha. He saw the Prophet prayed the whole night. The whole night. We say on rare occasions the Prophet ﷺ do this. He did it only once, and this night. And Abdullah bin Khabab bin al-Arat was observing him. After Fajr, hatta kan al-Fajr, till Fajr, falamma sallama min salatihi. When the Prophet ﷺ said salam, he finishes his salah. Qala lahu Khabbab, the companion, asked him. He said, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah, bi abi wa ummi, I give my father and mother sacrifice to you. لَقَدْ صَلَّيْتَ اللَّيْلَةَ صَلَاةً مَا رَأَيْتُكَ صَلَّيْتَ نَحْوَهَا. Indeed, today you prayed a prayer I have never seen you pray that way. Like praying the whole night. You used to pray some hours of the night and you go to sleep, or you sleep first and you wake up and you pray. But this time around you prayed something that I have never seen you prayed. Then what next? Faqala, the Prophet said, Ajal, yes, I have never done something like this. I don't do it on normal occasion. Innaha salatu ragbin wa rahabin. It is a prayer of hope and fear. It is a prayer, this is special prayer. It is a prayer of salatu ragbin wa rahabin. the prayer of hope and fear. I do it hoping something from Allah and also fearing something. What are these he's hoping and fearing? He will tell us in the hadith. قال إني سألت ربي عز وجل ثلاث خصال. I asked my Lord 3 things in this prayer. فأعطاني إثنتين. Then he granted 2 of my requests. ومنعني واحدة, and he declined 1. So who are you to say that once you pray, all your prayers are going to be answered? Now this is the Prophet ﷺ praying unusual prayer, a special prayer. Only once in his life he prayed from Isha till Subh. And when Abdullah bin Khabab bin Arat asked him that, I saw you did something today that is unusual. You prayed the whole night. He said, Ajal, yeah, this is something unusual. Innaha salatu ragbin wa rahabin. It is a prayer of hope and fear. I asked Allah 3 things and he granted me 2, he declined 1. So not necessarily that whenever you pray it will be accepted. Sometimes you pray and it will be declined. The Prophet ﷺ prayed 3 things and he was granted 2. What are the things he prayed? He said, Sa'altu Rabbi Allah yuhulikana bima ahalaka bihil umamu qablana. The first prayer I prayed Allah not to destroy this nation with what he destroyed the previous nations. The previous nations, when some of them sin, all of them will be destroyed because of the sin of few people. He said, that's the first prayer I prayed. وَفِي لَفْظٍ, in another wedding, Allah yuhulikana bisana, that Allah shall not destroy us with famine. So we shall not die because of famine. All of us will die on this reason. فَأَعْطَانِهَا, then Allah granted this. He said, okay, He granted. I will not destroy you no matter how you sin. No matter how part of this ummah sin will not be destroyed as general. The way the people of Lut, the people of Nuh, the people of the people of Shu'aib, no, will not be destroyed a general destruction. This is the first. وَسَأَلْتُ رَبِّي عَزَّ وَجَلَّ أَلَّا يُظْهِرَ عَلَيْنَا عَدُوًّا مِنْ غَيْرِنَا. And I also asked Allah not to impose enemy from outside. In another narration, not to impose enemy from outside to finish with us. Now if the non-Muslims, all of them united today and say we are going to fight Islam, they cannot finish all of us. This is guarantee from the Prophet ﷺ. He prayed that and he said, فَأَعْطَانِهَا, and Allah gave me this. So if a nation will say that I will fight to kill all Muslims, yes, you can fight to kill Libyans, you can fight to kill Iraqis or Syrians, you can go that way. But to say that I'm setting a fight against all Muslims in the world and I'm going to finish with them, the Prophet ﷺ prayed and it was granted that no one can do that. وَسَأَلْتُ رَبِّي أَلَّا يُلْبِسَنَا شِيَعًا. Then I asked Allah not to make us parties. That this is tariqah, this is izala, this is here. We don't want to be parties. فَمَنَعَنِي, Allah declined. Allah said, no, you have to be that parties. Everyone will have to have that small parties. That's why there is no way you can think of uniting all Muslims under one banner. You can make a claim, you can try to do that. But the Prophet ﷺ prayed that we shall not be parties, and it was declined. So this is what he prayed. Now, Mahal al-Shahid, why this hadith? To tell you that the Prophet ﷺ did not pray the whole night except only one time. It is rare that he prayed the whole night. So the sunnah is that you pray and you sleep as well. I mean, وَإِنَّ لِنَفْسِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقٍّ, yourself has right upon you, time up. Okay. So we can stop here and ask question, then we can continue from here. Salatul Witr, maybe we'll do Salatul Witr in this second. Yeah.
All right, now we're going to take 2 questions and then we continue with the...
What about?
It's the scientific researchers that show the importance of sleep for our mental well-being. That we have to sleep for a particular hours, like 8 hours. And here we are encouraged to spend most of the time doing the late. And if you don't have what to do, you don't. So how can you reconcile?
I think it's easy to reconcile. Firstly, I think the issue of sleeping 8 hours is for kids before the age of 18. I think the research says before the age of 18, this will make them think better. But who is sleeping 8 hours? So unless if you are in the labor market or you don't have a lot of job to do. I mean, many people are really busy. The one who want to make it are really busy. Not even the non-Muslims, sometimes they don't have 8 hours to sleep and they are living. One scientist said that for you to have healthy, I mean, this is just, I mean, if you do it, it's not necessarily you have to do it. You know, I attended a conference in Manchester and I heard one of the professors, a story from one of the professors. He said, I'm addicted to Maltina. He said, I'm addicted to Maltina and I always want to take Maltina. And There's a doctor, a friend of mine, who is telling me, don't take Maltina, there are preservatives, it's not good for your health, blah, blah. He said he stopped me from taking it. He said one day in the morning, when I woke up, I was told that the professor is dead, the doctor is dead. He said, dead? He said, he's dead. He said, okay, give me one Maltina, kind of Maltina, after that I'll go for funeral. Because I realized that it's not Maltina that kills. He insisted I shouldn't take Maltina. I stopped, but he died before me, sudden death. So not always thinking about what scientists say at the expense of your ibadah and things like that. Some people think, why would you pray 5 times a day? You are wasting a great time. You could use that economically. It's a waste to the nation. But you know it's not waste to the nation. You are doing this for your deed. And also 8 hours in a night. 8 hours in 24 hours. You can, sleep in the night. It is part of the sunnah to sleep in the day as well. After Salatul Zuhur, you can have another sleep of 2 hours, Salatul Asr, siesta. You can have siesta before Zuhur or after Zuhur. So you can add to have 8 hours if you are keen to have that 8 hours, which I think is not necessarily actually. So that's how you can reconcile between them. Another question? And also last Ramadan, and Ramadan before last, I saw a very specialist doctor. I attended iftar. And this doctor was one time a commissioner of health in one of the states. And he was, it was in Ramadan that I was doing breakfast. And this is the person, a commissioner of health that you see on TV telling you about what to do with your health and a doctor. And he has canned drink like Pepsi, whatever, everything. I said, doctor, you are taking this? He said, Sheikh, there are 101 reasons to die. Just take whatever you want. If you didn't, Boko Haram will kill you, a healthy person, or you have an accident. So I think, I'm not discouraging you not to go by this, but then I will encourage you to go by this than going by scientists' report. Any other question? Wa alaikum assalam.
I just want clarification regarding the Nawafil Salah. I recently had one of the scholars mention, well, from what I know, you can pray 4 rak'ats before Zuhr and 2 after Zuhr. But he said that 4 rak'ats after Zuhr and the 4 rak'ats you are not supposed to sit for Shakya during the second rak'ah, that you just pray the 4 rak'ats Fatiha and Surah, and then you do your salam after the 4 rak'ats. So is this authentic? And if I pray the 4 rak'ats, that's it. I don't have to pray the 2 rak'ats that was mentioned after Zuhr.
Yes, it's authentic. Finished? Have you finished? Yes, it's authentic. As regard to Salatul Zuhur Rawatib, you have 2 options. You can pray 4 before Zuhur, 2 after Zuhur. You can also pray 2 after before Zuhur, 4 after. There is option. They are all authentic hadiths about that. As regard to praying 4 without salam, also there is hadith of Abu Ayyub al-Ansari. It's reported by Imam Abu Dawood. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Arba'un qabla zuhuri bigayri taslimatin yuftahu lahunna abwabu sama." That praying 4 before Zuhur without taslim in between, 4 without taslim, but you don't sit for tashahud. After the second rak'ah, you also stand for the third rak'ah. After that, you stand for the fourth rak'ah. That the gates of heaven are open for them. So it's the right time you pray them, and you also pray. Make your supplication. Once you pray 4 without sitting in between. And you can also do them after Zuhur as well. There is hadith that you can do them after Zuhur. 4 without salam in between, without sitting tashahud. Yeah, now you can do 4 before Zuhur. It's better, I do 4 before Zuhur, 2 after Zuhur. Or 2 before Zuhur, 4 after Zuhur. Making them 6 is better. Either you start with 4 or you do 4 after Zuhur. And also you can do them, the 4 without taslim, and you can do it with taslim. It's optional. They're all authentic hadiths about it.
The next verse. You don't go on the or it doesn't have to be when you're coughing. You have to go on.
I didn't get the question, please. My mind was somewhere when you were asking.
When you're reciting, you don't forget the next verse. You don't become blank.
Yeah.
So you just go on or you pick another surah.
You will go on ruku. Is the second reason that will make you to go on ruku. When you forget a verse and no one is there to remind you about it. We're going to study a heading about when Imam forgets a verse. How do you remind him about the verse? There is a heading that is going to come either today or tomorrow, inshallah, about this. But then if you're reading alone and you forget the next verse, you just go for ruku. It's the second place after coughing.
My second question is also, sisters allowed to read out loud in Salah during recitation, like loud? Like Salah,
Well, generally, scholars will discourage that. There is no authentic hadith. When we read this book, at the end, the last issue, the last heading he will say is that whatever we read is equal. It applies to male and female. This is the last statement he will make in the book. That whatever we read of how the Prophet ﷺ did is applicable to men and women. This is what almost the last statement in the book. But then as regards to loud recitation and quiet recitation, scholars would advise female to lower her voice. They said why? They said because the essence of reading loudly is for your followers to hear. Once she is not imam, there is no need of that. Even when you are praying alone, some people opine, some scholars opine that you don't have to read loud if you are praying alone, because the purpose of that loud recitation is for people behind you to say Ameen when you reach the Fatiha. They know that you have arrived, you reach the end of the Fatiha. Also, when you want to go to ruku, they know that they will get ready, because they know now recitation will give them the tone of recitation will be that you're going for ruku. But if you are praying alone, for instance, if you want to pray Maghrib alone and you pray it all quietly, there is no sujood. Some scholars, even Ibn Jibril think that even if you are praying alone, you have to pray. You have to pray quietly. There is no need of loud, unless if you are leading a prayer. So there's no issue. I think better for women to recite quietly, or to at least lower their voice, not that loud that it's not needed actually.
All right, so last question from myself.
Okay.
What if in a situation whereby you have particular verses that you're so connected to that when you read them it has an impact in your life, and when you want to pray, you want to be connected to this verse? So for instance,
Verses, you mean verses, not the Quran?
like
Okay.
Can you, like now when you're praying, you take one verse that you're connected to and then jump to the other one that you know all the meaning, and jump, and then
Yes, you can, but not jump, right? Maybe you read the one you are connected with, then you read the ones that you don't know much meaning, or you read the ones you don't know much meaning. Then at the end you read the one you are connected. Why? Maybe you studied this. Maybe it's going to come. There was a companion who does that. He loves Qul Huwallahu Ahad so much that in each rak'ah, after reciting whatever chapter, he will recite Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Then his people said, either you recite Qul Huwallahu Ahad alone, or you recite other chapters, but you cannot combine between the two. He said, if you don't like it this way, I will dump imamship. So you appoint another imam. فَكَانُوا يَرَوْنَ أَنَّهُ مِنْ أَحْسَنِهِمْ. And they found him that he's the best among them. So if they drop him as imam, they won't find someone who is as capable as him. Then when the Prophet ﷺ visited the masjid, they asked him. And the Prophet ﷺ said, مَا مَنَعَكَ أَن تَفْعَلْ مَا يَأْمُرُكَ بِهِ قَوْمُكَ. Why didn't you do the way that your people asked you to do? They want you just to recite one. Why not? He said, إِنِّي أُحِبُّهَا يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. Oh, Ya Rasulullah, I love this surah, Surah Al-Ikhlas. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, حُبُّكَ إِيَّاهَا أَدْخَلَكَ الْجَنَّةِ. Your love for that chapter grant you Jannah, admit you to Jannah. So it's quite, the Prophet ﷺ granted him permission. He admitted that he accepted that he recited Qul Huwallahu Ahad and any other chapter. Any other chapter, then Qul Huwallahu Ahad. So also if you have a verse that you are connected to, you can recite that verse and then whatever verses that come. Wa alaikum salam.
Question I asked before about someone that made him a book praying. Someone that found the Imam praying, then he is completeness prayer, then you make him pray. Should you follow him or should you go outside and pray alone?
This is a very important question, and it will be the last question because of the importance, and it's one of the most frequently asked questions. People ask it so much. That for instance now, what you did that. You did that. I think we were praying and you missed the prayer and there was someone completing his prayer, you followed him. Was that right? So now if you come to the masjid, the imam has finished, but some people are paying. Can you just join them? Because you miss the congregation and you want to get that reward of congregation. And someone's completing his prayer. He has only 2 rak'ahs to pray. He catch 2 rak'ah with imam, he's praying 2. Okay, let me catch that 2 rak'ah with him. Can you do that? That's the question. Yes, you can do that. But you need to understand something. First, there is no injunction about that. There is no command or prohibition about that. There is no hadith which says that you can do that. There is no hadith which says you can't do that. So this is subject to independent legal judgment from scholars, ijtihad. So scholars will have to go by ijtihad, whether it's allowed or not. Bin Baz and other scholars said it's allowed. Why is it allowed? Because of analogy. What is the analogy? He said, if you... Now, what is in this case? In this case, it's just that someone was a follower before, now turned imam. Did you get it? Now I'm praying with imam. I only catch 2 rak'ah. So when I'm praying the last 2 rak'ah, I'm a follower. Now after finishing, imam finishes his 4 rak'ah, I got only 2, I say salam. I stand to pray, to complete my prayer. Someone joined me. Now I was mamu turning imam. Now I become imam. Is it? Do you understand the picture clearly? He said, this is it, and this is in prayers. We do that, it's permissible. How is it permissible? He's now making analogy with another case. There is another case similar to this. Who can tell me the case that's similar to this? Do you understand this case? Now this case is a case whereby the one person, in part of the prayer he was a follower, and in other part he is now imam. So the same person changing from follower to imam. This is what happened. This is the question. Can that happen? Then Mimba said yes. It's analogical to another issue in Salah which is permitted. Who can tell me? Who can tell me the issue analogical to? Yes? Let me make it clear for you. That's why I say very important. I don't mind wasting all the time on this. Now when you come to masjid and the prayer is finished, but you find someone completing his prayer, it is zuhr. He got 2 rak'ah, like just what I did now. I did 2 rak'ah and people are completing. So then someone coming to say, let me join because I came late. Let me join them. So if you join someone, part of his prayer he was follower, he was ma'mum, he was following in the first 2 rak'ah. But now he's turned imam because now you are praying behind him. Do you get it? Is it clear? No, it's not. The question is that, the question he's asking is that, if I come to masjid and find out that the prayer is finished, the imam has finished, but there are some people who did not get 4 rakat, now they are paying back, they are completing their prayer. Can I follow them? Is it clear? Can I follow them to pray? So now, if you follow him to pray behind him, now you are making him imam, right? But he wasn't imam. He didn't start his salah as imam. He started as follower. He was following imam just because he missed 2 rakat. Now he is paying back the 2 rakat, and now you are following him. So you are making one person in part of the prayer to be, part of the prayers to be what? To be mamu, and in the second part to be imam. This is what you did. This is what you did. Now me and Shuaim praying. And I started the prayer as an imam, then Shuaim catch back after praying 2 rakat. Now, who is the imam? I'm the imam, and he's following. Then, after I completed the 4 rak'at, he has how many rak'at to pray? 2. When he stood up to pray the 2, then Amir came in to join. That I want congregation, I miss congregation, let me follow Shuaim. Now he's making Shuaim to be what? Imam again, right? But he wasn't imam initially, I was the imam. He started his 2 rak'ah as follower, now he's turning to imam. So now this is a question, is it allowed in Salah that one person at a point in time at the beginning of Salah is a follower and at the end is imam? Now this is the main question. That is how scholars answer. I told you there's no hadith said you can do that. There's no hadith said you can't do that. But now they have to go to analogy to find, is there any issue in Salah, any topic in Salah that correspond to this, where one person is imam in the part of Salah and in the second part he's mamu, he's follower in the first part, and he's imam in the second part. Give me where it happens. Yes? Yeah. I think you flip it. I think you upside down. You made it upside down. Okay. Yeah, generally, that the hadith you want to mention, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu started Salah. It was time for Salah and the Prophet wasn't around, and he instructed Bilal, when it's time for Salah, go to Abu Bakr and ask him to lead. And Abu Bakr started leading Salah, then the Prophet ﷺ came and he joined. When he came, the companions started clapping. At that time, clapping was not forbidden in Salah. Abu Bakr wa kana rajulun la yaltafitu fi Salah. Abu Bakr is a person who doesn't turn back in his prayer. Palamma kathura, when they clap too much, iltafata. He just turned to see what is going on there clapping. Then he saw the Prophet ﷺ. Then he came back. The Prophet ﷺ ashara ilayhi and makana, just continue leading. Then he came back. Then the Prophet ﷺ already started Salah as a follower. Then he turned to Imam now. So there's something you are doing now. And also another scenario. When Imam is leading the prayer, let's say Salatul Zuhur. After 2 rak'at, he realized that his wudu is nullified. Then he will ask someone to lead. That person that's going to lead you now was also a follower just like few rak'at before Imam appointed him. So there's something happening now. When you follow someone, he was in part of his prayer, he was Imam, and in second part, he is Mamu. Not very clear, right? Say, yeah, okay, thank you. So it's permissible, based on analogy. But just know it's not hadith. You don't have to argue with anyone. You say, yeah, there is no hadith saying that I can do it this way, or hadith saying not to do it. The scholars who said we can do it, they go by analogy, and they find analogy in these scenarios I mentioned. That in Salah it is permitted for someone to be a follower and to be Imam in the same Salah. So why not doing it here?
That's the end of the question.
Inshallah.
Want to shoot into the next session?
Yeah. Okay, shall we just no. Where are we going to start from? وقام ليلة بآية يرددها. Yes, go ahead. Please.
وقام ليلة بآية يرددها حتى أصبح وهي إن تعذبهم فإنهم عبادك وإن تغفر لهم فإنك أنت العزيز الحكيم. بها يقرأ بها يركع وبها يسجد وبها يدعو. فلما أصبح قال له أبو ذر رضي الله عنه يا رسول الله ما زلت تقرأ هذه الآية حتى أصبحت تركع بها وتسجد بها وتدعو بها. ما زلت تقرأ هذه الآية حتى أصبحت تركع بها وتسجد بها وتدعو بها وقد علمك الله القرآن كله. لو فعل هذا بعضنا لوجدنا عليه. قال إني سألت ربي عز وجل الشفاعة لأمتي فأعطانيها وهي نائلة إن شاء الله لمن لا يشرك بالله شيئا. وقال له رجل يا رسول الله إن لي جارا يقوم الليل ولا يقرأ إلا قل هو الله أحد يرددها لا يزيد عليها كأنه يقللها. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم والذي نفسي بيده إنها لتعدل ثلث القرآن.
Hey, continuation about his recitation in Salah. One verse, repeating it. Then we said he read Surah Al-Baqarah, Ali Imran, Surah Al-Nisa, all these the 7 longest chapters. I didn't memorize them. I have not memorized them. What can I do? In one night, the Prophet also prayed with only one verse. So if all you know after Fatiha is Qul Huwallahu Ahad, that's the only thing you know. You don't even memorize. You didn't even memorize the next chapter, the next verse, Allahu Samad. All you know in your life after Fatiha is Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Now you can pray with Qul Huwallahu Ahad. When you say Allahu Akbar, after Waladdallin, Ameen, then you say Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Qul Huwallahu Ahad. You keep on repeating. You keep on repeating. You keep on repeating. Only one verse. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ did that. قَامَ لَيْلَةً بِآيَةٍ يُرَدِّدُهَا. He prayed night prayer one night with one verse only. He kept on repeating it. Hatta asbaha. Till he finished. Till Salatul Subh he was repeating only one ayah. Here the verse is إِن تُعَذِّبْهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ عِبَادُكَ وَإِن تَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ فَإِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. Repeating this verse, one of the prayers of Isa alayhi salam in Surah Al-Ma'idah. Oh Allah, if you punish them, they are your servant. But if you have mercy for them, you are the mighty and the one with the most wisdom and most wise. So he kept on repeating this verse, like into adhibum, oh Allah, if you, it's like praying, like, oh Allah, if you punish your servant, he's praying for us, if you punish them, they are servant. I mean, you can do whatever, because they are your servants. وَإِن تَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ, oh Allah, if you have mercy on them, if you forgive them, وَإِن تَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ, oh Allah, if you forgive them, or if you have mercy on them, فَإِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ, oh Allah, you are the mighty, you are the wise. So what is he asking? He's asking for the punishment or for the forgiveness? For the forgiveness. If you punish them, oh Allah, they are your servant, you deserve. But if you forgive them, you are the mighty, you are the most wise. So he's praising Allah for seeking forgiveness. This is the only verse that the Prophet ﷺ did the whole Qiyamul Layl with only one verse. يَرْكَعُ بِهَا وَيَسْجُدُ بِهَا وَيَدْعُ بِهَا. When he goes to ruku, he's reciting it because it's not, or he's still considering it Quran. When he goes to ruku, he's considering it as prayer, as like he's praying. And in sujood, he repeated it. And in his dua, he repeated it, seeking for forgiveness, Allah's forgiveness on us. فَلَمَّا أَصْبَحَ, in the morning, قَالَ لَهُ أَبُو ذَرٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ. Abu Dharr happens to be the person who prayed with him in that night. Because the Prophet ﷺ did not pray with his companions in congregation in Salatul Layl. He will start the prayer alone, and sometimes one of the companions will join. Another companion, maybe the most will be only two companions. So that night it was with Abu Dharr. And in the morning, Abu Dharr asked him, he said, مَا زِلْتَ تَقْرَأُ هَذِهِ الْآيَةَ حَتَّى أَصْبَحْتَ. You continue to repeat this verse till morning. تَرْكَأُ بِهَا وَتَسْجُدُ بِهَا. You recite it in your ruku, you recite it in your sujood. وَتَدْعُ بِهَا. You recite it as your prayer in salah. وَقَدْ أَلَّمَكَ الْقُرْآنَ وَقَدْ أَلَّمَكَ اللَّهُ الْقُرْآنَ كُلَّهُ. And Allah taught you the whole Quran. You know everything in Quran, but why picking only one verse? لَوْ فَعَلَ هَذَا بَعْضُنَا لَوَجَدْنَا عَلَيْهِ. If it was one of us that does this, we are going to stand on him. We are going to criticize him. We are going to say, why only one verse? There are many verses you memorize. Why only one verse? قال, then the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنِّي سَأَلْتُ رَبِّي عَزَّ وَجَلَّ الشَّفَاءَةَ لِأُمَّتِي. I ask for intercession for my ummah. I ask Allah intercession for my ummah, to grant me intercession for them. فَأَعْطَانِهَا, and Allah granted me the intercession, that I will intercede for them. وَهِيَ نَائِلَةٌ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لِمَنْ لَا يُشْرِكُ بِاللَّهِ شَيْئًا. And this intercession will engulf and everyone who does not associate partners with Allah. If you are not mushrik, if you do not worship other than Allah, if you do not deviate the real ibadah, the worship to another Allah, if you do not ascribe partners to Allah, whatever sin you committed in this world, the Prophet ﷺ will intercede for you. But that's not guaranteed that you're not going to get to hellfire. Intercession is of different categories, part of which is you will get to hellfire first. Then he will intercede for you to be removed from hellfire. So it's better that you protect yourself, not to get burnt first, then be interceded. And part of the intercession is that he will intercede for you, even not to get to hellfire. There are 6 categories of intercession that the Prophet ﷺ will do on the day of Qiyamah. So now, Mahal Shahri here is that the Prophet ﷺ repeated one verse, repeating one verse in his Salatul Layl. So don't think that because I have not memorized much Quran, I can't pray in the night. What have you memorized? One chapter after Fatiha? What is that? Suratul Ikhlas, Suratul Falaq. No, I know how to recite Tabbat Yada Abi Lahab. I know Iza Ja'a. So you can do 5 hours praying with that. If you finish, come again. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan, come again. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Finish, come again. When you get tired, then you go for ruku. But in ruku, you're not going to recite the verse, because this verse is like prayer. It's like dua. You can recite dua in sujood, but you cannot recite Quran in ruku or sujood. You cannot go to ruku and say Qul huwa Allahu ahad or Qul a'udhu bil falaq. But into adhihum fa innahum ibaduk, this is dua. You can, in ruku and sujood, you can recite Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Despite the fact it's part of the verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, but it's also dua. Dua is an exception. You can recite dua in your sujood and ruku. But we are going to come to a heading that will say that the Prophet ﷺ forbade reading Quran in sujood and in ruku. Understood? Inshallah? وَقَالَ لَهُ رَجُلٌ. And one man said to the Prophet ﷺ, Ya Rasulullah, inna li jaran yaqumul layl. Ya Rasulullah, I have a neighbor who prays in the night. وَلَا يَقْرَأُ إِلَّا قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. He only recites قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ in his night prayer. my neighbor always does Qiyamul Layl, but he only recites Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Yuraddiduha repeatedly. He recited it in all his night prayers. وَلَا يَزِيدُ عَلَيْهَا. He doesn't increase, he doesn't add to that. كَأَنَّهُ يُقَلِّلُهَا. It's like this person reporting considers it to be too little. He considered it too little. Only Qul Huwallahu he recites. فَقَالَ النَّبِيُّ صلى الله عليه وسلم. Then the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم replied to him and said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ. I swear to the one who has my life in his hand, إِنَّهَا لَتَعْدِلُ ثُلُثَ الْقُرْآنِ. Qul Huwallahu Ahad is worth 1/3 of the Quran. It's like 1/3 of Quran. So when he recites Qul Huwallahu Ahad alone, it is equivalent to 1/3 of the Quran. So it's reading a big surah, and you are here belittling what he is reading. So it shows that you can repeat only one surah. This companion repeats only Qul Huwallahu Ahad. That's how he does the Qiyamul Layl, and the Prophet accepted it from him. And he himself, once he only recited one verse, not even a chapter, only one verse in Surah Al-Ma'idah. So whatever you memorize, no matter how little, that will stop you from Qiyamul Layl. And also, if you want to read from longer chapters, you can hold Mus'ab, no problem. You have that. The purpose, I told you in the last session, when I say last session, I mean last 6 months when we studied, that this is the 7th or 8th time I'm teaching this book. In one of the times I taught it, but this is the first time I'm teaching it in English. All others in large congregation and big masajid, sometimes masajid al-Jumu'ah, and they will get filled up. And part of the questions is that if I want to recite, I had the Prophet ﷺ recited Sifatu Salatul Nabi, the 7 longest chapters, and I haven't memorized them, and I want to practice this sunnah. Can I hold Mus'ab? I will tell you, you can hold Mus'ab. If you want to do that one night, we read that the Prophet ﷺ recited 7 longest chapters of the Quran in the night. I'm going nowhere tomorrow in the morning. I can sleep 8 hours in the morning if I wish. So if I have to sleep 8 hours. So let me do it in the night. Like I just want to spend the night praying, like maybe 5 hours or 6 hours. So I want to hold Mus'ab. I want to read these 7 longest chapters, but I will hold Mus'ab. So you can hold Mus'ab and do it. Just to make sure that you just practice. Because some people are really keen to practice what the Prophet ﷺ did, and it is good to know that I'm doing this because the Prophet did that. You know, some of the companions do it to the extent that you will even laugh. He will call somebody to cup for him, you know, cupping, kahoko, right? And he will give him dinar. He will be asking, because I read the Prophet ﷺ did that. I don't need it, but just because I read the Prophet ﷺ. Some of them would eat particular food, and they said, you like this food so much. He said, Anas. He said, Wallahi, I don't like it, but just because the Prophet ﷺ used to eat it, I just want to eat it and emulate him. And Abdullah ibn Umar went on a journey from Mecca to Medina. He would stop at a particular place and he will urine. He said, then he comes to his people, I don't want to urine, but just because the Prophet ﷺ did that in that place, I want to emulate him. At a particular place, he will just pray. He said, just because the Prophet prayed in that place, I just want to do it. Some people find passion in following Sunnah, and this is good actually. So if you want to do Qiyamul Layl with one verse, with one chapter, with Sifatu Tiwal, you can just follow a method that will be easier for you and do that. So let's go to Salatul Witr. Maybe we'll stop there after Salatul Witr, after this heading. Salatul Witr. It's witr. I want to correct your understanding. We know we say Rakatay al-Fajr, not Rakatay al-Fajr. I believe this is a break takeaway for you. Inshallah, you will never repeat it. Now, what is witr? Because many people don't know what is witr. Witr is an odd number. It's called witr. So when we say witr, it means odd number. So 1 is witr, 3 is witr, 5 is witr, 7 is witr, whatever. It's an odd number. Be it salah, be it whatever. Water, these are witr because they are 3. 3 people sit on the table, they are witr. Inna Allah witrun yuhibbul witr. Allah is odd and He likes odd things. So for odd numbers, Allah likes odd numbers. So when you're doing something, you do it. That's why you say, if you go to sujood, recite 3 times, you're going to come to it. 3 times or 7 times. If you go to Hajj, circumambulate the Kaaba 7 times. All these are odd numbers. So if you're going by Islam, it will give you many odd numbers, odd numbers. 5 daily prayers, they are 5, odd number. I mean, so 5 pillars of Islam, they are 5, odd numbers. So there are many odd numbers in Islam. So witr is odd number. But when it comes to Salatul Layl, some people say Shafa'i the wutri, Shafa and wutr. Shafa is whatever is done in even number. So if you are praying in the night, whenever you pray 2 rak'at, you pray even number. Regardless of it is whatever, And if you pray 11, if you pray 2, you pray shafa, another 2, shafa, another 2, shafa, up to 5 times. You pray 1, you pray odd, witr. So making them 11 together, and they are now what? Witr, right? Because they are odd now. When you pray 2, it is even. 2, another, it is shafa, shafa, shafa. Then you pray 1 to make it odd number. But then if you pray 1 to make it odd number plus all the 2 to even number, it is called what now? It is odd number, right? So all the Salatul Layl is called witr. Now the application of this word, witr. Witr is an odd number, but part of the application, it is applied to Salatul Layl. So the whole prayer of Layl, there are many names for Salatul Layl. Tell me some names you know of Salatul Layl. Tarawih, Tahajjud, Qiyamul Layli, Qiyamul Ramadan, Salatul Layli, Witr. It's also called witr. Just to understand the application of the word witr. Also witr, the last 3 raka'at are also called witr because they are 3, they are odd. The one that people call shafa and witr. And also the last one is called witr. So in Salatul Layl, there are 3 applications of witr. 3 applications of witr. The whole Salatul Layl, as you said, Qiyamul Layl, Salatul Layl, Salatul Taraweeh, Salatul Tahajjud, you can also say witr. You can say, I prayed witr, meaning that I prayed 11 rakat, meaning that I prayed 13 rakat, meaning that I prayed 8 rakat, 9 rakats. I prayed, it's called witr. Also, if you prayed 8 and you prayed 3, the last 3, or you prayed only 3, the one we're going to read what the Prophet used to recite on them. You can say, I also prayed witr, meaning the 3. Also, if you prayed only 3, you prayed 2 and say salam, and you prayed another one, you can say, I prayed shafa and witr. So witr is applied to 3 things. The whole night prayer is called witr. The last 3 is called witr, and the last 1 is called witr. So what is popular among people when they say shafa and witr, they mean only the 3. So now you know the application of the word generally, just like Rakatay al-Fajr and Rakatay al-Fajr. So now he says Salatul Witr, how he does Salatul Witr. Now he is using the second usage. He will make the Salatul Witr the 3 last one. The people call Shafa and Witr is referred here as only Witr. As I tell you, the whole Salatul Layl could also be, also the last one could also be. He said, وَكَانِ سَلْسًا يَقْرَأُ فِي الرَّكَعَةِ الْأُولَى. The Prophet ﷺ would recite in the first raka'ah of Witr, سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الْأَعْلَى. وفي الثانية, in the second rak'ah of witr, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. Meaning that, وفي الثالثة, in the third, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. In the third, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. So making the whole 3 as witr. So he recite the first, سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الْأَعْلَى, the second, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, and the third, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. وَكَانَ يُضِيفُ إِلَيْهَا أَحْيَانًا. Sometimes he will add to the third one, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ وَقُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. Sometimes the third one, he will recite قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. Traditionally, people think that the last one will have to be قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. No, sometimes the Prophet will only recite قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ and he will go for ruku. In the last rak'ah of witr, if it is what you call witr, yes, witr. Or the last rak'ah of 3 witr, or the last rak'ah you prayed after Salatul Layl. It's all applicable to that. It's called witr. So the Prophet ﷺ sometimes will read only Qul Huwallahu Ahad on that. And sometimes he will add Birabbil Falaki and Birabbil Nas. Understood? Now you understand what I mean by witr, right? The last rak'ah he prayed in the night. Because Salatul Layl has to be an odd number. So the last rak'ah that will make it the 3rd rak'ah or the 5th rak'ah or the 7th rak'ah or the 9th rak'ah or the 11th rak'ah. Sometimes the Prophet ﷺ will recite which chapter? Qul Huwallahu Ahad. And sometimes he would add to that and recite which? Falak and Nas. وَمَرَّةً. And once, قَرَأَ فِي الرَّكَعَةِ الْوِتْرِ بِمِئَةِ آيَةٍ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ. The last rak'ah, after the first rak'ah, he recited سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الْأَعْلَى. The second, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. The third, he read 100 verses from Surah An-Nisa instead. So not necessarily all the time, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ or قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ plus Birabbil Falaq, Birabbil Nas. So now how many types of recitation do we have on Salatul Witr? How many types of recitation? 3. The first one is reciting which chapter? Surah Al-Ikhlas, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. The second type is reciting what? Ikhlas, Falak, Inas. And the third is reciting what? 100 verses from Surah An-Nisa. This enough is a great knowledge, knowing that in Salatul Witr, we have 3 types of recitation. We can do any of them. Amma raka'atani ba'da al-witr. But as regards to 2 raka'at after witr, the Prophet ﷺ used to pray 2 raka'at after witr. He said, Ij'alu akhira salatukum bil-layli witra. Try to make your last salah in the night to be odd number, to be the last one, to be witr. But the Prophet ﷺ, Ibn al-Qayyim in Zadul Ma'ad said, because Salatul Layl, Qiyamul Layl to the Prophet ﷺ is like obligatory prayer. It's like an obligation. Allah says, وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَتَهَجَّدْ بِهِ نَافِلَةً لَكَ. We pray it as voluntary prayer. Sometimes you cannot pray. Sometimes, but the Prophet ﷺ is obligatory. Even when on a journey, when the Prophet ﷺ is on a journey, he will shorten prayer. He will pray Salatul Zuhr, 2 rak'at, and he wouldn't pray 4 before Zuhr. He wouldn't pray 2 before Zuhr. It's not part of the Sunnah. If you are in a journey, you won't pray. Like me now, after Zuhr, I will start to pray another 2 rak'at. No, it's not part of the Sunnah. It's innovation. I'm just trying to do so much, but it's not the quantity, it's the quality. So if I were to pray now, and I prayed 2 rak'at with you, and I will say, okay, let me go and pray Sunnah. I'm doing innovation, I'm doing video. The Prophet ﷺ wouldn't pray that. After Maghrib now, if we pray Maghrib here, maybe many of you will start to pray 2 rakat, but I won't pray because it's not part of the Sunnah to pray. But night prayer, even on journey, the Prophet ﷺ will pray night prayers. Night prayers, even on journey, the Prophet ﷺ will constantly pray. To him, night salah is like an obligation because a condition given to him that pray night prayers, then you are going to give a praiseworthy station of Qiyamah. You are going to be granted intercession. And the intercession is already granted. So Allah fulfills his own. Now the Prophet will have to fulfill his own. Therefore, وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَتَهَجَّدْ بِهِ نَافِلَةً لَكَ. For that reason, أَسَىٰ أَنْ يَبْعَثَكَ رَبُّكَ مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا. In the night, stand up and pray. In the night, perhaps, if you do that, Allah will grant you a praiseworthy station on Qiyamah that you will intercede for all. So the intercession is already given. Allah gave him a condition, pray in the night, I will give you intercession. He gave him intercession. So now he will have to fulfill his condition. Therefore, all the time, the Prophet ﷺ will pray Salatul Layl. So Ibn Qayyim said because he does that, he even felt it as part of obligation. He need to do another sunnah for it. Now when you pray Zuhr, you are talking about doing 2 rak'ah. So when the Prophet ﷺ prayed Salatul Layl, he will stand up and pray 2 rak'ah. He's feeling that it's just like I prayed Isha. This is just part of me. So this is what Sheikh called wa amma rak'atani ba'da al-witr. But for the 2 rak'ahs that he used to pray after witr, فَكَانَ يَقْرَأُ فِيهَا إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضِ زِلْزَالَهَا وَقُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. So after finishing witr, before the dawn break, he will pray another 2 rak'at. And the first he will recite which surah? قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضِ زِلْزَالَهَا. And the second he will recite which surah? قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. That is why there is something that is very important under this, is that in Ramadan people do ask that when I pray with first Imam, 11 rak'ah in the last 10 days, and I want to pray after that in Tahajjud, you know, it's preferable. If someone asks us, we say it's preferable to pray only 11. So choose either between Tahajjud and Taraweeh and pray 11 is better. But we're not saying it's haram. If he insists that I want to do Taraweeh and Tahajjud, how am I going to do with witr? Because if I prayed 11 and I prayed 11 again, now they are not odd numbers. They are becoming even numbers. And the Prophet ﷺ said, pray odd numbers in the night. So which witr shall I do? Shall I abandon the first one and do the last one? We say no, do the first one witr and abandon the last one. Because the Prophet ﷺ prayed after witr and he prayed even number. So now if you prayed with Imam 11 and you want to pray again, then you pray 10. 10 is what? It's even number, right? Like the 2 the Prophet ﷺ prayed after witr is what? Is even number. So you can pray even number after praying witr. So because the Prophet ﷺ used to do 2 rak'at after witr, after Salatul Layl, he did 2 rak'at which is even number. So today we can ask you that if you want to pray Taraweeh and Tahajjud, go with Imam and pray the witr in the first one, because the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man qama ma'al imami hatta sarafa kutiba lahu qiyamul layla." Whoever prays with Imam till Imam turns away, meaning that till Imam finishes, qiyamul layl will be written for him. And you are not assured of your life, you are not guaranteed of your life till the late night, so better do your witr in the first night. Finish. So the latter you're going to pray 11. You are going to pray 10, You're not going to follow him to pray the 11th rak'ah because you prayed even number, and the Prophet ﷺ used to pray even number after witr. Inshallah, this is where we're going to stop. I really, and before you carry it, I enjoyed today's class. I think it's better than the previous class. In the previous class, I was looking at the pages. I just want us to read because they told me it's intensive class, so we need to finish like how many pages. But today I was not paying attention to the page. I was paying attention to your attention, and I think, inshallah, you have benefited a bit from today's class. Shukran, Shukran.
I decided to pray my Muslim prayer after my Isha prayer today. Then for some reason I wake up in the middle of the night and I want to pray Qiyamul Layl. So do I complete my witr with one more Qiyam, then add another witr at the end, or the first way you said now?
Now Sheikh Fawzan will give you this fatwa. He said you can just add one rak'ah to complete your witr. But Uthaymin will tell you no, just pray without praying witr. And I think it's more applicable to this hadith, that the Prophet ﷺ prayed odd number.
One more.
Shuraim will hear you know.
For the Tarawih prayer,
Yeah.
I know there are different formats.
From what?
Tarawih prayer.
Yeah.
I know there are different formats of how you do it. Last year I attended a mosque and they did 10 complete rak'ahs before the salah and offered them. Is that part of the sunnah or?
It's part of it, but it's not. It's not like in Salatul Tarawih. Yeah, yes. As I said, they are synonyms. In Salatul Layl, you can do that as well. You know what? I would suggest me or another scholar, when we finish this book, there is a book specifically called Salatul Layl, Salatul Tarawih by Albani, the same author. You can just invite another scholar and read that book, and it will be in one weekend, maybe if not one sitting, one day. It will be like 2 days, and you finish it. It's this size. It's very, very small. Yeah.
Always say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. If I know to recite
Good.
Surah.
Good.
And also the second question is he allowed, because of what you said in the session, is he allowed for me to come back while praying?
To what?
To
Turn
turn around.
around. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Prophet ﷺ said, "Innahu ikhtilasun yakhtalisuhu shaytanu min salatil abd." It is something that shaitan take away from you. It's like something snatching that shaitan snatch away from you. It doesn't invalidate your prayer. So when you are praying, when you turn, your prayer is still valid, unless if you completely turn against the Qibla. But you can just turn right and left, but shaitan is taking away, snatching some ajr from your salah. So someone who does not do that will be rewarded more than you. You are going to be rewarded less than him, but it doesn't invalidate your salah. Unless there is a valid reason for that, you can do that. As Abu Bakr did, because he had people clapping. He knows that there is something. There is a constant example I gave always and I saw it on social media going around, that if you have cassia, I said cassia or something, and you are praying, you park it behind you, and you had someone kicking it, you can just make sure that is it not yours. Because if you did attention, you cannot pay attention actually. You think, your car, you had a car like so it's permissible, you make sure it's not, then you continue. This valid reason. Your first question is about reciting Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. There is difference of opinion of scholars, majority of the scholars, and the differences is not in Salah. It didn't initiate in Salah. It initiated from Fatiha, Surah Al-Fatiha. How many verses are there in Surah Al-Fatiha? All of the scholars are of the consensus that it is 7 verses. But is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim part of it or not part of it? In Shafi'i school of jurisprudence, they are of the opinion that Bismillah ar-Rahman is part of it. So you have to say it and loudly. So it's only in Shafi'i school that you say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim loud when you're praying. The majority of scholars, some of them think that it is not part of it. Some of them think it is not part, but in prayer, it is reported that the Prophet ﷺ, we didn't recite it loudly, he recited quietly. They will say that even if it's not part of the Fatiha, you need to recite it, but you recite it quietly. The way you recite Adiyatul Istiftah, the supplications of opening. So now if you say Allahu Akbar, Subhanakallahumma Alhamdulillah, then you start reciting Alhamdulillah loudly. But quietly, you recite Fatiha, You quietly recite supplication of opening, and you recite A'udhu Billah and Bismillah. So I think this is the majority and the strongest opinion, because there is hadith of Anas. Anas said, I prayed behind the Prophet. Prayed behind Abu Bakr and Umar, but I have never had any one of them saying Bismillah Rahman loudly. But in Shafi'i school, they said Bismillah is part of the 7 verses. Therefore, you have to recite it loudly. So go by the majority, inshallah, is the strongest view. That you recite it, but not loudly. No. In the next surah after Fatiha, also is the same opinion, but it's very weak opinion saying Bismillah Rahman is part of each chapter. It's very weak opinion. It's not as strong as that of Fatiha. So after you can just recite. It was never reported that the Prophet ﷺ recited Bismillah Rahman Rahim one reciting chapter. It was not reported.
All right, one question from the brother and pass.
Okay, now, is it allowed for someone after calling for prayer and
after what?
Calling for prayer.
Okay.
And in the case that maybe I'm being knocked out, someone else just come into the mosque and do the same thing. So while
they should do the same thing, repeated the adhan.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So maybe while doing it, and now try to tell him that okay, I've done this before. Is it allowed for the person to stop or should continue?
He should continue. He should continue. You know, we were studying Islamic Sahih Muslim recently. It is a big class of some of the students are imams, and most of them memorize Quran, or many of them, and you know, they are imams teaching as well. We come about a statement from Imam al-Nawawi that in some places they even made adhan 4 times. 4 times they made adhan. This is not recommended. It's not part of the sunnah. It's not something reported, but to tell you that the interpretation of scholars to that extent, because the Prophet ﷺ had 2 mu'adhin, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, and not Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn, Abdullah ibn Ummi Maktoum and Bilal. 2 of them were calling prayer, and in Salatul Subh, 2 of them will call. You know, in Salatul Subh, it has two calling to prayer. It shall be only on Salatul Subh, but if he has already started, why stop him? Allow him to continue. He finished, no problem. Some scholars said that you can do more than an adhan. And the purpose of adhan is to call people. So maybe when you did your own, some people didn't hear, they will hear from his own. And you're not making it tradition, just once or twice, it happens, no problem, Misha.
All right, brothers. Don't be patient and see tomorrow. Sisters?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you will repair it. And you will repair it after the sun rises. Someone asks about Salatul Ishraq and Salatul Duha. It is doing Salatul Duha between the time of Salatul Duha till the time of Zuhur. And if you are paying it, you have to pay an even number. You cannot pay an odd number. For instance, if you are used to pray, we say Salatul Layl, it's called witr because it's supposed to be all in odd number, right? So if you are used to praying 3 only, that's your custom. You pray 3. No, then when you want to pay back, you're going to pay 4. When you want to pay back between, like say, 7:30 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. to Zuhr, you're going to pay 4. When it is your custom that you always in the night you pray 11, then you miss it for one reason or the other, and you want to pay back, then you pray 11, you will pray how many? 12. You will pray in odd number. You always ask 1 rak'ah. Add 1 rak'ah. Sorry. I'm getting confused. Which 2? You pray 4. Yeah, 2 units, yeah. You pray 2, you say salam, you pray 2, you say salam. And that's all. Instead of the 3 you're supposed to pray in the night. The last question, inshallah. Last. Zuhr prayer? You did 2 and 4, 6? Yeah. Qasr, yeah. No. Because in this case, there was a practical case during the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ. When he went to Mecca, he was praying Qasr, and he will tell the people of Makkah, Atimmu ya ahla Makkah fa inna qawmun safar. All the people of Makkah, complete your prayer. We are on a journey. We are going to shorten prayer. And it wasn't reported that he assigned someone to complete the prayer for them. So they completed their prayers individually. So I think this is the best sunnah. It happens. There is a practical imitation for it. There is a practical case for it to be imitated. During the lifetime of Prophet ﷺ, he didn't ask them to do it in congregation. They did it individually.
Mashallah,
Last question.
That was the last question, and then
Inshallah.
Sheikh had to say, well, I say last question, all of you, again, may Allah bless you all, may Allah reunite us all in Jannah.
Ameen. And before then, tomorrow here, inshallah, before Jannah.
So before Jannah, you'll be here by tomorrow. Please let's endeavor all to come a bit earlier.